and welcome back to a new video. The initial plan of this video was going to be a full face of first impressions She Glam makeup because I haven't done one of those in a very long time. But unfortunately my package of Shein was supposed to arrive today and it didn't, so I had to switch things up a little bit, but I still wanted to do something with makeup today, so that's why in this video I'm gonna show you how I created this effortless glam makeup look. It's the perfect neutral toned look for every day, but it's also definitely glam enough for a party or a night out. So I'm really excited to show you how I created this makeup look, so if you're interested then please keep watching. Okay, so I have already prepped my skin, it's nice and moisturized, so the next step is to go in with a primer. And I'm actually gonna try a new primer that I've not used before. This is the very famous e.l.f. Poreless Body Primer. I have seen this all over social media for years now, so I'm very excited to see what it does on my skin. The primer that I used before this is also an e.l.f. one, the e.l.f. Blemish Control Primer. Didn't really make that much of a difference. I didn't really see big change in my makeup or in my skin when I used that one compared to no primer. Okay, yeah, this is definitely giving me a very pretty flawless finish, and it's made my skin very smooth, but also surprisingly kind of glowy and a little bit sticky, which means that it can be a very good base for foundation. One of the most important steps in my makeup routine that I do when I want to get that very flawless finish is to spot conceal. As you can see, I do have quite some blemishes and some little spots and redness all over my face, which means that if I would apply a foundation to my face right now, then the blemishes are still gonna show, and on a daily basis I would be okay with that, but not today, because today we're going for a more glam look. So I want my base makeup to be as perfect as it can be. So for spot concealing, I'm going in with the Catrice True Skin High Coverage Concealer, which is a very affordable concealer, and I love this one for spot concealing because it is quite thick and quite high coverage. I actually have this one in two different shades, in 32 Neutral Biscuit and I have it in 010 Cool Cashmere. I like to use a darker shade for the summertime when I'm a little bit tanned. At the moment I am definitely not, so we're going in with the lighter shade for the spot concealing. I'm just gonna take a basic flat brush and I'm gonna put this on all my little blemishes. If you have some acne anywhere, then you can put it on that. Actually, let me zoom you in a little bit more because I feel like you're too far away. If you want, of course, you could put this anywhere that you like. You can put it all over your face as well if that's your thing, but I would really recommend to just focus on your problem areas or your active spots. I'm gonna let this concealer set for a minute so it's really absorbed into the skin and I can get the most flawless finish out of it. And while I let that set, I'm gonna do my brows. I'm not really sure what to think of the whole soap brow situation because I do love a little laminated brow. I don't really like when they're done so extremely that you just glue them to your face. That's not really my thing. If you do like that, then of course go ahead, but I like mine to be a little bit more natural and fluffy. Then I have this little box of brow soap. I have no idea where it's from. I think I just got it on Amazon or something. I kind of believe that all of those brow soaps are kind of the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the one that I use and it works perfectly fine. And then I'm gonna take some setting spray and I'm just gonna spray it into that. And then with a little spoolie, I'm just gonna work the product in. And then I'm first gonna brush my brows in the opposite direction of which you're growing in. And now I've really worked the product into my brow, I'm gonna brush them upwards to give that feathered effect. I don't really like these ends to be too laminated, so I kind of go like this to make sure that it's still a nice shape, but that the tail of my brow is not sticking out too much. It's still very natural, but I do think that this gives your brows a little bit more of a fresh look. Then I'm gonna take a little brow pencil. I use the Essence Micro Precise Eyebrow Pencil in the shade light brown. I am not using this one because it's my absolute favorite. I desperately needed an eyebrow pencil and this was literally the only one that they had left in the store. It's pretty good, so I would recommend the Essence brow pencils if you're looking for something affordable. And with this I am just going to fill in my brow a little bit. Not too much because I don't want a very harsh brow, but I just want to fill in the gaps that are a little bit sparse. Now the last thing I'm going to do to my brows is give them a little brush through with the Charlotte Tilbury brow gel. Would definitely recommend. I'm not going to put too much on here because I've already done the brow soap. Okay, now I think that the concealer has set for long enough. I'm going in with my finger and very gently I'm going to tap around the edges to blend that concealer in. Now you can already see that this gives me a very nice smooth base to begin with. And I don't really have to worry about any big spots that are gonna show through my foundation. So for foundation I'm gonna use one of my absolute favorites, which is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation. I cannot recommend this foundation enough, especially if you have dry skin like me. This is an absolute lifesaver and it's one of the best foundations out there if you want glowy skin but still get some coverage. I especially love this for the summertime and that's why the shade 290, which is my summer shade, is absolutely at the end of its life. And now I am using the shade 140, which is my, let's say, winter shade. Would you just look at that finish? That is stunning. And it's so fascinating to me how such a glowy and dewy foundation can still have so much coverage. Now that we're looking like a beautiful snatched ghost, we're going to apply some concealer to my under eyes and the high points of my face. And for that I'm going to use the Maybelline New York Fit Me Concealer in the shade 06. I do think that this concealer is a tiny bit sheer, but I do really like it for my under eyes because it's very buildable and I don't really like a very thick high coverage concealer under my eyes because that's going to crease and then it's just gonna give me cakey under eyes. These are the places where I apply this concealer, and then I'm also going back in with that True Skin concealer and I'm just gonna apply that a little bit to the lower points of my under eyes just so that shade can really blend into my skin tone very well. And I always blend my under eyes at the last minute so that they can set in the longest. Now that is a beautiful base to start with. My under eyes crease like crazy, so I'm first going to set them immediately. And unfortunately I've run out of baking powder, so I'm gonna have to do it with a pressed powder. I'm gonna use my favorite powder, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish Powder. I've just talked for literally 20 seconds and I already have to go back into those under eyes because they're creasing so quickly. Lightly feathering my under eyes instead of pressing it harshly. This is gonna make sure that the makeup that's under my eyes right now is not gonna move anywhere. Now my under eyes are safe, luckily. We're going in with the next step, which is blush. And it doesn't matter what kind of look I go for, if it's an everyday look or a more glammed party look, I always use a lot of blush because a blushed look is just... That's why we're going in with multiple blush products today. First of all, one of my favorites, which is the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Blush in the shade 2 Petal Poppin'. And this shade is just beautiful. I'm going in with my finger first and then I am applying it to the apples of my cheeks. And with a flat angled brush, I'm going to buff that in. The thing that I love most about the Fenty blushes is that they just melt into your skin like butter and they are so blendable. And at first sight they look very bright and glowy, but then when you blend it into your skin, it just fades into this beautiful subtle blush. So this is looking very natural and very beautiful, but it's not enough blush for me. So I'm gonna add a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pinkgasm. I think there's not a soul on this planet that doesn't know the Charlotte Tilbury blushes, but I absolutely love them. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on the high points of my cheeks and then blend that in with a beauty blender. And I like to also drag my blush a little bit towards my brow bone as well. Stunning! Okay, let's set my face with some powder. I'm going in with that Charlotte Tilbury one again and just apply this all over my face. Like I said, I do have very dry and sensitive skin, but over time when I'm wearing makeup and it melts into my skin, I do get a little bit oily, especially around my T-zone and my forehead mainly. So I do want to make sure that that is set very well. So for the next step, I'm going in with bronzer, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. A lot of people use this one and I think it is absolutely beautiful. It blends in like a dream. It matches me so well and it's just super easy to work with, so I would recommend this to anyone who is looking for a new bronzer. And I'm gonna place this on my cheeks, working upwards. Did you see how easy that was for me to blend in? That literally took like 5 seconds and it looks flawless. I'm also gonna place this a little bit on the forehead. Not too much because I don't really like it when people have like brown foreheads because of their bronzer. I just think that's a little bit overdue, but she is looking snatched and sculpted. For highlighter, I'm taking the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer in the shade 5. I really don't know if there's a name to it, but it says 5. This is one of my absolute favorite highlighters on the market, but I do have to say that after a few weeks, the packaging broke. So that's kind of like, come on Dior, I paid a lot of money for this. You're a very expensive, high-end makeup brand. I'm sure that you can do better than that. It's fine, I still love it. I mean, you can see for yourself how freaking beautiful that is. If that doesn't give you the glow that you want, then I don't know. It's so pretty. Love this one. And I'm also gonna place this on my nose, of course, because we all love a little nose highlight. Let's move on to the eyes. I want to do something natural, but I also want to make it like sexy and smoky. So I'm thinking a lot of browns. I am using my favorite eyeshadow palette, which is the Too Faced Natural Eye eyeshadow palette. The packaging alone is just a dream, but they also blend so well and they're so pretty. Unfortunately, I dropped my palette, so it's a little bit broken, but the shades are still amazing. As you can see, I have hit pan on quite a lot of them because I love this one so much. They do have this one in a matte version where all the shades are matte, but I prefer this one because who doesn't like a little bit of shimmer and shine on their face? And I'm gonna take the shade Cashmere Bunny and I'm just gonna apply it all over my lid. Then I'm gonna take that shade again, the Cashmere Bunny that we just applied, and I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of Sexpresso right here in the corner, and I'm gonna define my crease with that. Then I'm going into this shade, which is called Chocolate Martini, and it's a very beautiful brown sparkly color. And I'm gonna focus this mainly in the outer corners. And I'm just gonna bring this into the crease. And you can see how this is still very messy and very ugly. So we're gonna fix that with that same fluffy blending brush. Just buff everything out so that we get a nice smoky eye look. Don't worry about the edges and your outer corner because we're gonna clean that up later. So now we're here, I'm gonna take one of my eyeshadow brushes and dip into the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer a little bit and just contour my nose. Okay, back to the eyes. I'm gonna take a tiny eyeshadow brush and I'm going into the shade Silk Teddy, which is this very pretty shimmery shade right there. I'm gonna focus this on my inner corners and also the inner corner of my eyelid. Now I'm gonna take a little angled eyeshadow brush and with the darkest shade in the palette I'm gonna create a little eyeliner. I'm also gonna put a little bit of eyeshadow on my lower lash line. And then to clean everything up, I'm going back into that Catrice concealer once again and I'm just gonna clean up the edges of my eyeshadow. Like that. That's the finished eyeshadow look. Let me just put on some mascara and some lashes and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just applied some lashes and this is the finished eye look. By the way, the lashes that I used are the Ardell Naked Lashes. So let's put something on my lips. I'm thinking a little bit of a medium to dark nude lip. I'm gonna use the Plumping Lip Liner by Catrice, which I think are one of the best drugstore lip liners out there. They're retractable, they go on like butter, and I don't know what shade this is because the label has come off, but I do think for this look it's a little bit too dark. I don't want a bright red lip, so I am gonna light it up a little bit with the Kiko Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade 1. I'm not really into matte lipsticks anymore, especially matte liquid lipsticks, because I think they're quite drying. But these ones from Kiko are just so velvety, so smooth. They're very lightweight. You don't really feel them on your lips. I think they're beautiful. I'm just gonna finish the look with some Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. And that's it. And there you have it, a beautiful, effortless glam makeup look. It was really fun applying all these makeup products with you and talking about the stuff that I like. If you liked this video as well, then please leave a like down below. And I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can be the first to see all the new videos that come up on my channel. I want to thank you so much for watching and I would love to see you in the next video. Bye!